A girl with no place to belong. Dusty Town Road, sunset. Wyoming Territory, 1870s. Wind slices through the empty street, lifting a curtain of dust that drifts like smoke. A blood-orange sun slumps low, casting long shadows on the cracked earth. A young woman stumbles from the swinging doors of the Silvernail Saloon, her bare feet red and raw from splinters. Clara Moor, 22, torn dress, bruised lip, haunted eyes, collapses onto her knees in the dirt. Her wrists are scraped raw. A man shouts behind her, "Drunken man OS." She refused again. Worthless. Two others laugh from the porch. Their laughter stabs the silence like gunfire. One tosses a coin after her. It hits the dust with a cruel clink. Clara doesn't move. Her hair veils her face. Her shoulders shake, but not from weeping, from holding in screams. No one comes. No one even turns their head. They've seen her too many times to care. At the far end of the street, half hidden in the dying light, sits a tall, quiet man atop a weather-worn horse. Wyatt Gaines, mid-30s, wide-brimmed hat shadowing his eyes, coat faded by sun and time. He watches, still, tense. A dog crosses the road behind Clara, sniffing at a puddle. Wind rises. Dust whirls. The sun dips lower. Wyatt squints, turns his horse, and begins to ride away. Wyatt's mind, flashes of memory. The crack of a rifle. A baby's scream. A woman's bloodied hand reaching toward him as a cabin burns. He clenches his jaw, stops the horse, turns back. Dusty Town Road moments later. Clara tries to stand. Fails. Her limbs shake. The saloon doors slam open again. One of the men approaches, belt half unbuckled. "Saloon man, ain't nobody told you to crawl yet, girl. Get up and do what you're paid for." A boot crunches behind him. The man turns. Wyatt stands behind him, taller than the wind. "Wyatt, she's done here." "Saloon man, who the hell are why?" Wyatt punches him. Hard. The man crashes into the saloon wall and folds. No threats. No drama. Just a storm that passed through in silence. Clara tries to crawl away, confused, panicked. But Wyatt stoops, lifts her gently into his arms. She doesn't fight, doesn't speak, just curls in on herself like something too bruised to care anymore. Outskirts of town minutes later. Wyatt's wagon waits by a tree line. Old, scarred wood, covered, blankets in the back. He places Clara inside like she's glass. She still hasn't said a word. Her eyes flit toward him, wild with fear. Wyatt climbs up front. Reins click. No word spoken. The wagon creaks forward, away from the town, the saloon, the laughter, toward the open, wild world. Behind them, thunder rumbles. Dust darkens the sky. Wagon night. Clara lies still. She watches the canvas above sway with the wind. Her hands grip the edge of the blanket, waiting for the worst. But it doesn't come. She peeks toward the front. Wyatt sits alone, watching the trail ahead. Nothing in his posture suggests danger. She touches the bruises on her wrist. Winces. Finally, Clara, softly dry. "What do you want from me?" Silence. The wagon keeps rolling. She turns her face away. Campfire, later that night. They stop beside a creek. Wyatt builds a fire with practiced hands. Clara stays back, arms wrapped around her knees. He places a tin of beans near the flame. Bread, water, leaves them near her, but doesn't force it. Clara glances at him. "Clara, you gonna kill me out here?" Wyatt doesn't look up. Wyatt, "No." Clara, bitter laugh. "Then what? Sell me again. Or just want your turn first." Wyatt pokes the fire. No reply. She watches him, confused, angry. "Clara," sharper, "why won't you say anything?" Finally, he looks at her, not with lust or pity, but a kind of distant sorrow. "Wyatt, You look like someone who hasn't heard silence in a long time. Camp, later that night. The dust storm has passed. The stars blink in the clearing sky. Clara sleeps near the fire, wrapped in a blanket. Wyatt stands nearby, hat in hand, staring at the fire. Something in his eyes says he's keeping watch. But for her? Or for something else? A wolf howls in the far hills. He doesn't flinch. Plains, morning. They travel again. Clara sits beside him now, though not close. Her hair is combed. The swelling's gone down. They pass a field of burned grass. Old wagon wheels buried in the dirt. Clara, what's your name? Wyatt. Wyatt. Clara, why'd you take me? Wyatt, long pause. Didn't want to leave you there. She studies him, not understanding. Clara, but you didn't know me. He doesn't respond. Just keeps driving the wagon forward, eyes scanning the horizon. Flashback, Clara's memory, intercut visuals. A mining tent, her father drunk, throwing bottles. Men tossing coins for her at age 14. Hands, rough and cold, pulling at her in the dark. Her voice in voiceover. Clara, VO. I don't know what good looks like. I don't know what love is. Never saw it, never felt it. Only ever ran from pain to more pain. Ridge, evening. They reach a ridge, overlooking a worn, but standing log cabin. A corral. A small barn in need of mending. The land stretches endlessly. Wyatt stops the wagon. Wyatt, you can stay here a while, till you figure out where you're going. Clara looks at the cabin, at the hills behind it, at him. Clara, and what do you want in return? He looks her in the eye. Wyatt, nothing. She almost laughs. A sad, stunned sound. Clara, that's not how the world works. He shrugs. Wyatt, maybe this part of it does. Cabin night. It's cold. She sleeps in the bed. He takes the floor by the door, rifle close. Clara watches him in the moonlight. He doesn't touch her. Doesn't even face her. For the first time in her life, she feels safe and doesn't know what to do with it. Her eyes flutter closed. Wyatt's cabin morning. The crackle of a fire. The soft scent of pine smoke. Sunlight pushes gently through the warped slats of the shuttered windows. Clara blinks awake, cocooned in a wool blanket. She looks around, startled, until her fingers brush the edge of a folded flannel dress beside her. Clean, mended. A tin plate sits near the fire. Eggs, beans, bread. Still warm. She pulls the blanket tighter around her and sits up slowly. Wariness creeps in like old habit. The door creaks. Wyatt steps in, carrying an armload of chopped firewood. He sets it down without a word. Clara flinches. Eyes narrow. Clara, what is this? Wyatt, quiet. Breakfast. Clara, mistrustful. And then, he pauses, meets her eyes. Wyatt, you ain't property. Not here. He turns, walks back out. Clara's gaze lingers on the closed door. She looks down at the meal. Her stomach growls. She eats. Wyatt's cabin, later that day. The land around the cabin is wild. Tall grass, craggy hills. Trees scarred by wind and time. A lone corral creaks in the breeze. Clara watches Wyatt chop wood in the distance. Her eyes study his shoulders, broad, steady. Her jaw tightens. He isn't like the others. She hates that it confuses her. Cabin night. Clara's hair is clean now. Her hands stitched the hem of her new dress. She watches Wyatt silently as he sits near the fire, carving a new stock for a rifle. Clara, softly, you live alone. Wyatt nods. Clara, why? No answer. He keeps carving. Clara presses. You lose someone? Wyatt's hand pauses. For a beat, his eyes stare into something far away. Wyatt, wife, and son. 5 years ago. Clara swallows hard. Clara, what happened? Wyatt, still distant. Sioux raid. Wrong place. Wrong time. No bitterness in his tone. Just a wound worn smooth. Clara, And you've been out here ever since? Wyatt nods. Figured I didn't belong in the world anymore. He looks at her now. Wyatt, maybe you know that feelin'. She does. But she says nothing. Wyatt's ranch, series of montage moments. Clara clumsily tries to saddle a horse. Wyatt watches from the fence. Clara screams in frustration, kicks the dirt. Wyatt walks over, takes her hands, guides them. No words, just guidance. A rip in Wyatt's coat. Clara finds a needle and twine, stitches it silently, sitting in the doorway. She's surprised when he says, "Thank you." Target practice. Clara struggles to hold the rifle steady. Wyatt adjusts her stance, his hands barely touching hers. Wyatt, aim small, miss small. She fires, hits the can. She smiles, the first time. A dead calf in the pasture. Wyatt kneels, burying it with solemn grace. Next morning, he finds wildflowers laid at the makeshift grave. Trading post, midday. Clara and Wyatt walk inside. Eyes follow them, not kind ones. The trader, grizzled and mean, smirks as he leans over the counter. Trader, didn't know you took in whores now, Gaines. Finally get tired of sleeping alone? The room stills. Clara stiffens, shame creeping up her neck. Wyatt doesn't blink. Then punch. The trader hits the floor. Wyatt doesn't say a word, just drops coins on the counter and walks out. Clara follows in stunned silence. Outside, as they reach the wagon, Clara, quietly, "You didn't have to do that." Wyatt, "Yeah, I did." Cabin night, snow falling outside. A storm brews. Wind howls against the walls. The fire flickers as they sit on opposite ends of the hearth. The silence has weight. Clara watches the snow creeping in the corners of the window frame. She speaks suddenly brittle. "Clara, you think I don't know what you want?" Wyatt doesn't answer. Clara, rising, "I know men like you. You wait. Pretend to be kind. Then you take what you want." When she lets her guard down, she crosses to him, drops the blanket from her shoulders. "Clara, is this it? You waited long enough." Wyatt stands, turns his back to her. Wyatt, even, "Put your blanket back on." She doesn't move. Wyatt, firm. Now, her hands tremble as she pulls the wool back over herself. She's shaking, not from cold, from shame, from old wounds. Clara cracks. "Why haven't you touched me?" Wyatt turns slowly, kneels beside the fire. Wyatt, "Because no one ever taught you love ain't something you buy, or oh." She sinks to the floor, back against the wall. The fire dances between them. She begins to cry, but it's not rage, not grief. It's the kind of sobbing that comes when the walls finally crack. She covers her mouth, embarrassed. But Wyatt doesn't move closer. He just sits beside the fire and stays. Cabin, days later, after storm. Snow blankets the ranch. The world is quiet, white still. Clara steps out, bundled in Wyatt's oversized coat. She watches him in the corral, repairing a fence. She walks to him, offers him water. "Clara, you ever gonna let me help for real?" Wyatt grins softly. "You been helpin'. Just didn't know it." She smiles, small, uncertain, but real. Ridge above the ranch. Late afternoon. Wyatt leads the horse to higher ground, scanning the valley. Something catches his eye. Riders. Far off. Dust trail curling like smoke. He squints. Sees a brand on the lead horse's flank. His jaw tightens. He turns and rides hard back toward the cabin. Cabin evening. Clara is setting kindling by the hearth. Wyatt throws open the door. "Wyatt, get inside. Shut the shutters." Clara, alarmed. "What is it?" Wyatt, "Riders. I saw the brand." Clara freezes. Face drains of color. Clara whispers, "Red tea. That's Caleb Torrance. He owned me in Leadville." Wyatt, "He's coming now." He hands her a revolver. She hesitates. Wyatt, firm, "Can you shoot?" Clara nods. "If I have to." Wyatt, Then stay low. And don't open that door unless it's me. He walks back out into the dusk. Clara locks the door. Her hand trembles around the grip of the revolver. Outside, wind howls again. The storm isn't over. It's only just begun. He stayed. 300 words. Wyatt's cabin night. A thunderstorm brews. Lightning cracks across the sky. Wind screams through the trees. Clara stands at the window, heart racing, her hands trembling around the rifle Wyatt gave her. In the distance, riders, 6 of them, lanterns swinging, guns strapped to saddles. At the front, unmistakable, Duncan Hale, brothel boss, thick with cruelty, his coat soaked, face half-shadowed. Clara whispers, "No, it's him." Wyatt steps to the door, calm but steeled. Wyatt, get to the root cellar. Clara, I can fight. Wyatt, this ain't your fight. Clara, it's mine. She hesitates, then nods, disappearing beneath the trapdoor. Cabin front. Moments later, Wyatt steps into the storm, rifle ready. The wind rips his coat open. Duncan reins his horse, staring down at him. Duncan, that girl? She's mine. Bought and paid. Now move. Wyatt, she ain't for sale. Not now. Not ever. Duncan, then you just bought yourself a war, cowboy. Thunder cracks. The first gunshot echoes. Root cellar, simultaneous. Clara crouches in the dark, fists clenched. Muffled gunshots above. She trembles, eyes wide. 1, 2, 3 shots. Then silence. Then a scream. Her heart pounds. She looks at the ladder. Clara, no more hiding. Cabin mid-fight. 2 men lie dead in the mud. Wyatt's shoulder bleeds. He stumbles, ducks behind a barrel. A 3rd bandit reloads, behind the barn. Duncan charges Wyatt with a knife. They collide, knocking over a post. Wyatt's rifle is kicked aside. Fists, knees, elbows, it's brutal. Duncan slashes Wyatt's side. Suddenly, crack, a gunshot from the porch. Clara stands, barefoot in the mud, smoke curling from the rifle barrel. One of the raiders drops, dead. Wyatt, Clara, get back. Clara, no. She rushes forward, grabs the hatchet from the barn wall, hurls it. It buries itself in a rider's back. Duncan, bleeding and limping, scrambles onto a horse and flees into the darkness. The last of them gone. Cabin night. The cabin is wrecked. Smoke from the fireplace hangs low. Blood trails across the floorboards. Wyatt lies on a cot, pale, barely breathing. Clara stitches his side, hands shaking, face streaked with mud and tears. Clara whispers, "Don't you dare leave me now. Not after all this. Not after you taught me what it means to be human." She presses her head to his chest. A weak breath rises beneath her cheek. He's alive. Brown Square epilogue, spring sunrise. Wyatt's homestead, months later. Morning sun breaks over green fields. The wind is gentle. A new porch wraps around the rebuilt cabin, painted white. A small sign carved in wood hangs above the door. More Gaines Schoolhouse. Children, 3 of them, dusty-faced and smiling, sit in front of a blackboard on the porch. Clara, now clean, hair braided, dress neat, reads a lesson aloud. Clara, and when you plant seeds, you don't just walk away. You wait. You water. You believe. The children repeat after her, their voices bright. On the porch, Wyatt watches in a rocking chair, arm in a sling. His face is older now, but at peace. A dog sleeps at his feet. Clara steps beside him. They watch the kids run into the field, laughing. Clara, he could have ridden away, and I wouldn't have blamed him. But he didn't. She takes Wyatt's hand. Clara, he stayed. Long enough for me to learn what love really is. If this story reached something deep inside you, if you believe that love isn't perfect, but earned through patience and healing, then like this video, Share it with someone who still believes in second chances, and tell us in the comments. Have you ever had someone stay when they could have walked away? Subscribe for more cinematic frontier stories, where pain meets peace, and love is something that grows slow, like spring after a long, hard winter.